Hey friends, it's Alex. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm sharing with you all the books that I acquired in March. I did pretty well in March. I only got 7 books. I think I've read 8 or 9, so I achieved my goal of acquiring fewer books than I read for the month. I'm still failing for the year so far overall, but we're just going to forget about that for now. So I will just start going through the books, I guess. So the first one I got in March was my most anticipated book of the whole year. I think it came out at the end of February, but my copy didn't arrive till the beginning of March, and that is Day of Fallen Night by Samantha Shannon. This is the prequel to Priory of the Orange Tree. Priory of the Orange Tree was my favourite book for the year I read it. I can't remember what year that was, but I loved that book so much. One of my favourite books of all time still. So I have been eagerly anticipating this prequel ever since it was announced. So it is set in the same world, but set like 400 or 500 years before Priory, so you're kind of seeing some of the history of the world that's mentioned in Priory, which is just, yes, I love that so much. And once again it has dragons, which is my favourite fantasy creature, so again, I'm very much excited for that. I have started this. I am only on page 108, it is over 800 pages. I started it in March, but I unfortunately had to put it down for some other things, and I'm hoping to get back to it and finish it very soon, hopefully the beginning of April. I'll read you the synopsis. It is set in the same world as Priory, but they can both be read as standalone, so this shouldn't be me reading you the synopsis shouldn't be spoilery at all. Tanuva Melim is a sister of Priory. For 50 years she is trained to slay worms, but none have appeared since the Nameless One, and the younger generation is starting to question the Priory's purpose. To the north, in the Queendom of Innis, Sabran the Ambitious has married the new king of Hroth, narrowly saving both realms from ruin. Their daughter, Glorian, trails in their shadow exactly where she wants to be. The dragons of the east have slept for centuries. Dumai has spent her life in a Sekenese mountain temple, trying to wake the gods from their long slumber. Now someone from her mother's past is coming to upend their fate. When the Dreadmount erupts, bringing with it an age of terror and violence, these women must find the strength to protect humankind from a devastating threat. Intricate and epic, A Day of Fallen Night sweeps readers back to the world of Priory of the Orange Tree, showing us a course of events that shaped it for generations to come. Like I said, I'm 100 pages into this one, which, considering how long it is, that is not very far, but I am already absolutely adoring it. So I really can't wait to get back to this one and just dive straight back in and hopefully finish it really quickly, because I just want to know what happens as soon as possible. So the next book I got was one of my Goldsboro pre-orders. It is also the 3rd book in a trilogy, so I now have the whole trilogy, which is what I've been waiting for before reading it. And it is Emperor of Ruin by Django Waxler. Like I said, this is the 3rd book in a series, so I'm not going to read you the synopsis. And I also have no idea what the 1st book is about. But it's an epic fantasy as far as I'm aware, and I am very keen to check it out. I got the 1st book is one of the Goldsboro Sci-Fi and Fantasy Fellowship monthly books back when I was still subscribed, and so I've just been collecting up the whole series from Goldsboro, which I now have completed with this one. And I would like to get to this series this year if possible, but there are so many books I'd like to get to this year that I don't know if I will actually get to this one. But I'd like to try. So next up I was sent The Keep Within by J.L. Warred by Titan Books. I was part of the blog tour for this one. My review is up. I will leave it linked down below as well on my blog. You can check that out if you want. I enjoyed this one. It wasn't really what I was expecting, and it wasn't something I normally read, but it was enjoyable. But again, my full thoughts are in my review on my blog. But I will read you the synopsis of this one as well. When Sir Harrance Henry Larksdale, bastard brother of the king, falls for a mysterious lad from the mountains, he is unwillingly caught up in a chaotic world of court intrigue and murderous folk tales. Meanwhile, Queen Carmotta Illudanella, first queen of the Brintland, needs to save her life and her unborn child. With the 3rd queen plotting against her and rumours of coups rocking the court, Carmotta can rely only on her devious mind and venomous wit. But deep within the walls of Becking Keep squats the keep within, patient, timeless and evil. To speak of the keep within outside the walls of Becking Keep guarantees your bizarre and agonising demise within 9 days. All the while people fearfully whisper the name Red Marie, a bloodied demon with rusted nails for teeth and swinging sides who preys on the innocent. Harry and Carmotta are clinging to their dreams, their lives, by threads, and beneath all, the keep within awaits. So I will say, this book is the second book set in this world. However, I don't think it's a sequel, it's just set in the same world as his other book, which is called Pennyblade. I have not read Pennyblade and I don't really feel like it affected my understanding of this too much, but I did just find it a little bit confusing at the start until I got a bit more into it. So yeah, just a note if you're interested. It might be worth picking up Pennyblade first, but I don't think it affects your reading experience too much if you don't. Next up, I picked up Before They Are Hanged and Last Argument of Kings by Joe Abercrombie. These are books 2 and 3 in the First Law trilogy. I read book 1, The Blade Itself, kind of over February and March. Bloody loved it. It was so good. I am reading this for Becca from Becca and the Books, her catch-up book club, the series extended universe series thing, I think that's what they refer to as, that they're focusing on this time is the First Law world, which starts with the First Law trilogy. So I picked up books 2 and 3 after really enjoying book 1 and deciding that yeah, I'm definitely gonna stick through to this read along till the end. I also got the First Law along bookmark that Becca made, which is in my book ready to go, so I need to read this one this month. So yeah, picked up those two. The first book mainly followed the three sort of main characters, I guess, Logan, Glocta and Jezzel, and it didn't have a lot of plot. It was mainly just, there was a lot of character work. You really got to know the characters, and it was mainly just getting the characters to where they needed to be, and the way it kind of ended makes me feel like that there is going to be some plot picking up in these two. So I'm very excited for that, but I also just love the first one so much. I just got so immersed in the world, and that's what I love about reading epic fantasy like this. I'm not necessarily too bothered about a plot or a lack of plot as long as it is that immersive for me. So yeah, this was definitely, book 1 was definitely a win for me, and I can't wait to carry on with the series. I also picked up a copy of The Adventures of Amina al-Sirafi by Shannon Chakraborty. I didn't realise till after picking this one up that this is set in our world, so it's, I think it's like a kind of historical fantasy, but I imagine it leans way more to the fantasy side than the historical side, which is kind of what her other series, the David Bad trilogy, was like. It was set in our world, set in the past, but it leaned way more to the fantasy side than the historical side. However, if I'd known this was set in our world, I probably wouldn't have picked it up because that's just not really my thing. I don't know why I didn't assume that, considering her other series was, but I just didn't think this one would. I do still want to give it a go though, because it is pirates and that just sounds fun. And I have it now, so I may as well. Amina al-Sarafi has survived backstabbing rogues, vengeful merchant princes, several husbands and one actual demon to retire peacefully with her family to a life of piety, motherhood and absolutely nothing that hints of the supernatural. But when she's offered a job no bandit could refuse, she jumps at the chance for one final adventure with her old crew that will make her a legend and offers a fortune that will secure her and her family's future forever. Yet the deeper Amina dives, the higher the stakes, for there's always risk in wanting to become a legend, to seize one last chance at glory, to savour just a bit more power, and the price might be your very soul. So yeah, it does sound interesting. I am intrigued. I'm just not super into fantasy books set in our world. Just in general, my type of fantasy is like high epic fantasy. This does have really gorgeous map end papers though, they're just stunning. And I like that they've done that because it does have the map further in, but as it's part of the book you can't quite see right into the like crevice properly, whereas this you can see the whole thing properly, which more hardcover fantasy books should put their map on the end papers because it makes it so much easier to read it. It's also got nice red sprayed edges. So yeah, I'm definitely going to give this one a try. I'm intrigued to check it out, but I don't have the highest of hopes for this one, just for me personally, just not because I don't think it will be good, just because I don't think it'll be for me. It's not the kind of thing I'm usually interested in, but I am definitely keen to give it a try. And then the last book I got in March, it literally arrived on the last day of March, and that is The Way of Eden by Philip Chase. I kind of picked this one up on a whim. I've just been hearing endless things about this one in a lot of the fantasy groups I'm in, and no one has had a bad thing to say yet. Everyone is like, this is amazing. So I was intrigued. I want to read this book that is so amazing. I believe Philip Chase is a booktuber. I've never come across his channel before now, so I don't know what to expect at all. But yeah, just based on the reviews that I've been hearing, I've been very keen to check it out. So I picked up a copy and it arrived. I've also heard that it says the Eden trilogy, so it's going to be 3 books, and I've heard that the other 2 books are being published like this year, so it's going to be very quick. It is self-published, so that's probably why. He can kind of just put them out when he wants. I don't know how it works, but that's how I assume it works. I assume if you're self-publishing, you can just do whatever you want. You don't have to like stick to a publisher's schedule. Yeah, so if I enjoy it, that means I won't have long to wait until the sequel. That was my point there. I will read you the synopsis for this one as well. The kingdom of the eternal will awaken when the way of Eden holds sway over all of Eormenland. So say the prophecies. With unrivaled power in the gift, the supreme priest's Bladella, So I'm filming this after work, and my job is just being on the phones all day. I've been talking a lot today, and now I cannot talk anymore. With unrivaled power in the gift, the supreme priest Bledla leads Torlond and its mighty army to convert rival kingdoms by the sword and by the fang. Among the gathering resistance is the sorceress Sequara, whose mission is to protect her island and her Andumaic faith from the Torlonders' aggression. As holy war looms over the kingdoms of Eormenland, a chance encounter bestows a terrible curse upon a young man. Day-Raven's curse may decide Eormenland's fate, but first, with the help of unlikely friends, he must survive the shattering of his world. Equal parts epic and lament, The Way of Eden is the lyrical opening of the Eden trilogy. So yeah, I don't really know what to expect from this. I don't know that the synopsis alone would have intrigued me necessarily, but just the rave reviews I've been hearing has definitely got me interested. So hopefully I will get to this one soon. It would be nice to read it before the second book comes out, so I know if I want to get the second book or not. But yeah, I am intrigued to check it out. So those are all the books that I got in May, March. I nearly said April. I was like, no, that's not right, and then said May. Those are all the books I got in March. If there are any of these that you think I should prioritize, this is a heavy stack, blimey. It's all fantasy as well, I didn't even realise that, but that's mainly what I read now anyway. If there are any of these that you think I should prioritise, apart from A Day of Fallen Night, The Keep Within, and Before They Are Hanged, because I'm either reading or read those, let me know. And I will try and get to them sooner rather than later. But yeah, these are all the books I got. This is very heavy. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed. Please like and subscribe if you did, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.